Hello, it's Brian, and we're gonna get some casual motivation today. So it's Saturday, and I'm about to explore the city with a friend that I have over. But before all that, I want to talk about specifically what's it called? Addressing failures or making mistakes. Really focusing on making mistakes. I think making mistakes is a beautiful thing to do. We tend to think, oh, mistakes, I don't want those. Well, mistakes are such a great way to learn. The idea of a mistake is great. You do something, there's some negative consequence, you realize it, and you try not to never have it happen again, right? Um, like, let's see. Well, if you're a young adult like me, you've had that night out where you went a little too far, and then you end up thinking like, oh, I'm never gonna do that again, and you sort of do, but then eventually you learn your tolerance. I'm talking about drinking, okay? Yeah. But in general, so at my workplace, a lot of times I'm scared of pushing my work out there or speaking up. Well, in both those cases, when I do speak up, whether or not what I say is going to come out and be well received, it's okay because I'm going to learn from the feedback that I get. Like, when I first got to my new job, I was concerned about our strategy, right? Our company's strategy. So I voiced my concern, and I'm not in the right place to be criticizing strategy for a company that just joined. I'm not in charge of the strategy. But yet, I wanted to make the mistake. I wanted to show my curiosity and ask the question. In general, you shouldn't hold back. Go forward, make the mistakes. I encourage you. If you have a day where you didn't make a mistake, maybe you didn't try hard enough because most of the best things come from many mistakes. I mean, how else do we have scientific discoveries if not for a lot of scientific failures? And we tend to highlight only the successes, but in truth, many failures go into every success. They say the first part of succeeding is to fail. And the first part of growing, I would say, is to make a mistake. It'd be great if naturally as humans, if we just, it'd be crazy if we could just say, hey, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I wouldn't do that, because obviously those are bad. But a lot of times we just have to find out. We're very curious creatures as humans, right? So, let me think. I definitely have plenty of failures to share. So when I was applying to a job in San Francisco, I got rejected so many times by so many companies, and many would not interview me. They just didn't, I guess, have the time or interest to interview with me. And what I learned is I had to be very persuasive and have a strong strategy when it came to how I applied and how I projected myself. And when it came down to it, it was more like I would go through rounds of doing applications. So I would do, say, like 30 applications to 90 applications, and then I'd let like half a year slip by or a quarter year, and I'd repeat. So for like the last year and a half, that's what I was doing. And toward the end of it, I started actually getting invitations to come to San Francisco and do my interviews. And at that point, I felt very satisfied in a way, knowing that I was actually making progress. But that took quite a lot of time. But nonetheless, make the mistakes and do not give up. Making the mistake is the first step to doing something great. If you ever meet someone who started an amazing company or is really inspirational, whether or not they open up about it is one thing, but if you talk to them on the side, ask them about the struggle, what struggles they had. If they say there wasn't a struggle, I think they're leaving out a whole lot and they're painting a great picture. But the best pictures have a backstory. So, and before I conclude, in my third talk, right, I mentioned about meeting a new person every day for this week. And so far, for me at least, I have met, I met two new people last night, and today I will likely meet at least 10 new people. And so I've exceeded that little goal, and I encourage you to too. On the weekends, it's pretty easy because there's social outings, especially if you live in the city. If you're not, you got to try a little bit harder. But once again, if you go up to someone and tell them, "Hey, I've been challenged to meet a new person every day for a year." You tell someone that, and then do your little introduction. That is an easy conversation starter. So anyway, stay motivated.